The big dance may be over, but there's still a lot going on around the IU basketball program.
Hear from the national contenders from swimming and diving.
Baseball season is in full swing, but the team may be cooling off from their hot start. All that and more coming up on Hoosier Sports Night.
Welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Katie Lazinski, joined by Josie Janovicius. And this weekend there was a lot of recruiting news for IU. They got Thomas Bryant. He made the announcement on ESPN. He's a big guy that will definitely add to the roster.
Yeah, McDonald's All-American. And there was even more news today on 17th Street as there was officially groundbreaking the Assembly Hall renovations. Here's what Athletic Director Fred Glass had to say about what's coming up in the next year.
This project is really all about preserving the greatest home court advantage in college basketball. And we're going to do that in a number of ways, starting primarily with enhancing the fan experience. We're going to do that by cleaning up and renovating all the bathrooms and adding a number of bathrooms to make that a better amenity for our fans, expanding the concession stands to make that a better experience. All the seats will be refurbished, not the bleachers, but all the seat back seats, and all those will be all redone. A brand new Jumbotron to make the fan experience great throughout the arena. We're also going to improve fan accessibility, escalators in both the north and south lobbies. We've retained a consultant and have made major steps forward in making it more accessible to people with disabilities. So that'll be a major plus in the new building. We're going to enhance the look, and maybe the most dramatic feature of the new building will be a dramatic new entryway and atrium, what I like to call the front door, a new front door facing campus, inviting people into the Carnegie Hall of college basketball.
Even with the national negative attention the Indiana religious freedom law received leading up to the Final Four, the event in Indianapolis went extremely well, and fans saw multiple campaigns supporting and welcoming all. Duke Coach K was a major supporter of the city holding the event, which ended up in his favor on Monday night, making it his third time winning the national title in Indianapolis.
First Final Four, and it's really exciting. A lot going on down here, a lot of fun.
The pep rallies and the fan fests have been very interesting. I really liked the sports. It wasn't just basketball, there was also football and stuff, so that was really fun for me and my family.
I like Indianapolis. I lived here for a little while, several years ago, and they're doing an excellent job of hosting this, looks like. Lots of activity, lots of fun, a lot of things to do.
Freshman Kennedy Goss of the women's swim team has been named to Canada's 2015 FINA World Championships team. She'll be traveling to Russia to compete from July 24th to August 9th. She is the third Hoosier to make this team. On the diving side, it was a successful postseason with 3 divers competing in the NCAA meet. 2 freshmen, James Conner and Jessica Parado, competed, with Parado taking home the national championship in platform diving. We spoke with them about their experiences.
I had the time of my life. Like Big Tens was crazy because you had the atmosphere and you had a big team of swimmers and all supporting you. NCAAs, it was kind of just Mike and I as far as the diving was concerned. We had a great group of swimmers with us that were supporting us, and the coaches were unbelievable. And really, like, I was speaking to my parents back home, and you know, the atmosphere and the competition, the standard of competition was incredible, and I was honestly just happy to be a part of it.
And then I was really happy with how all the events unfolded at NCAAs. I got to semifinal on 1 meter, and then final on 3 meter, and then go in with that experience of finaling on 3 meter to the next day, and then final on tower. And then I feel like I was really prepared going into that, so it went really well.
It probably sounds a little bit greedy, but I'm hoping that sort of within the next 3 years I can better, go one better at least in the events. But like, yeah, I guess being a freshman, being sort of new on the board, not really knowing what to expect. Like I said, I had great fun, and wouldn't have changed anything, now that looking in hindsight.
It was James's first NCAAs, and he did a great job. It was a lot of fun, definitely diving with him.
I mean, it's incredible. I really didn't have that many expectations, or really didn't set any goals going into the season. I really just wanted to have fun and be consistent, get my springboard going, because that's a new event for me. And then just be as consistent as I could on tower on all 5 dives. Yeah, and it was incredible, to really just to win. And I mean, I wasn't looking at the scoreboard at all. It was total shock and surprise at the end. So, I mean, I was really happy it went well.
Indiana baseball's Big Ten Conference struggles continued this past weekend in a series that culminated Sunday against the Michigan Wolverines. Dimitri Bubaris has more from Bart Kaufman Field.
Since becoming the Hoosiers' home turf in 2013, Indiana had yet to lose a 3-game series at Bart Kaufman Field. On Sunday, however, that streak came to an end. Michigan sophomore southpaw Brett Adcock bested his counterpart Scott Effross Sunday in the rubber match of the series to hand Indiana their second consecutive Big Ten Series loss, a week after the Cream and Crimson were swept at Iowa.
We haven't pitched a little, we haven't hit a little, we haven't defended a little. It's been a little bit of, I don't think we can point our finger at one area.
Following a 4-3 loss in the series finale, Indiana head coach Chris Lemonis did not shy away from addressing the Hoosier slump, a slump that throughout the past week has exposed the Hoosiers' inconsistency. A Louisville Slugger freshman All-American in 2014, sophomore Brett Adcock struck out 7 in 6 innings and surrendered 1 run as the Bay City, Michigan native earned his 3rd victory of the season.
He was a left-hander, 90-92, so it's a very competitive guy, and then some of the guys they brought out of the pen were very good.
The bulk of the Wolverines' offensive production came from 3 and 4 in the order, as Travis Mazes and Carmen Benedetti each tallied 3 hits. Although 4 Hoosiers accounted for multi-hit games, Indiana struggled with runners in scoring position, leaving 7 on base and striking out 11 times.
I mean, Michigan's a good team, but we just, we were a click off for some reason.
Down by 2 runs in the 9th, freshman Isaiah Pastor blasted his 3rd home run of the season, but it was too little too late for the Hoosiers, as Michigan closer Brian Powell notched his 3rd save of the season. Junior Scott Effross allowed 2 runs in 6 innings, bouncing back from his last start in which the right-handed junior went 1/3 of an inning and gave up 6 runs.
He got a lot better around the 5th inning, so he got settled in the 5th and the 6th, found his breaking ball, so that really helped. Left that changeup up on the guy that hit the home run, and I think that's the, probably the biggest hit of the game.
The Hoosiers fall to 18-10 on the season and drop to 2-6 in conference play as they play host to Cincinnati for a midweek matchup on Wednesday. At Bart Kaufman Field in Bloomington, I'm Dimitri Bubaris, Hoosier Sports Night.
The Hoosiers resume conference play and wrap up a 7-game home stand with a 3-game series against Rutgers beginning on Friday.
It was a long weekend for the softball team with Maryland coming to Bloomington. Their matchup on Friday was rained out, forcing a doubleheader on Saturday, followed by a Sunday afternoon game to close out the series. The Hoosiers fell to the Terrapins 1-2, but with no surprise, they were competitive on the bats. Senior Shannon Cawley hit a grand slam in the Saturday afternoon victory, and she won the Go IU Student Athlete of the Week. The team faces the Purdue Boilermakers Wednesday at 3:30 at Andy Moore Field.
Both men's and women's tennis competed against Big Ten opponents in town over the weekend. The men took on Nebraska and won 6-1, then beat Iowa 4-1. They will travel to Columbus to face the Buckeyes on Saturday. The women started by defeating Michigan State Spartans 5-2, then fell to Michigan 7-0. Sticking with Big Ten play, the women will host Maryland on Saturday.
Finally, Josie and I are joined in studio with Tyler Ratz, who is going to take over for this edition of Hoosier Hot Takes.
Thanks for having me here, guys. Paul George returned to action this past Sunday for the Indiana Pacers, propelling them to a victory over the Miami Heat. The Pacers currently sit 1 game back with 5 games left. Do you think Paul George's return is enough to boost the Pacers into the 8th seed, or will they miss the playoffs this year?
I guess I'll go first on this one. I think it actually is enough. If you saw the atmosphere against the Heat in Bankers Life Fieldhouse, it was just electric. Paul George still a little rusty, but you could definitely see signs of his old self in that game.
I'm going to have to disagree with Josie on this one. I don't think that it's enough. I think it's kind of the whole scenario of too little too late. He did have a great game back, but I just think he is still a little bit too rusty, and the rest of the team can't pull up that slack behind him.
And I like the arguments from both sides, but I'll have to give it to Katie. The Pacers are actually the losers of the tiebreaker if that would come into play with Boston. It's just a little too late, as you talked about, so I'll give you the first point. Next, you talked about it earlier with Thomas Bryant committing to IU. A lot of teams in the Big Ten are losing key players from this year's rosters. With IU having pretty much the same team, do you think they'll be the favorites heading into Big Ten play, or will another team be the favorite?
I don't think that they're going to be the leaders of the Big Ten. I think the standings that came out today, the whole title was it's way too early. I think there are so many different things. There's still roster changes going on. So I don't think that Indiana is going to lead. There can be injuries. There's so many things that could happen between now and then.
I'm going to agree with Katie, but for a different reason. I think that Indiana, yes, they are returning key players, but none of these players are particularly strong defensively. And two, with Maryland getting also a 5-star center recruit and Mello Trimble coming back, I think the Terps are favorites to win the Big Ten.
On this one, I'll have to give it to Josie. I love Diamond Stone, the big-time recruit. Awesome name. So I'll give Josie the point on this one. This makes it a 1-1 tie heading into the final question. The Masters, a lot of headlines coming into the weekend. Tiger Woods, how will he look? Can Rory McIlroy complete the Grand Slam with majors? Can Bubba defend his title? But when all is said and done on Sunday, who's wearing the green jacket as the victor?
I think Bubba defends his title. Rory McIlroy even came out and said he thinks that Bubba Watson's going to win the Masters. So I can't really argue with him. Like, I think he knows golf a little bit better than I do. So I'm going to have to go with Bubba Watson.
I feel a little odd saying this because he's younger than me, but I do think Jordan Spieth is going to come out on top this year. He is only 21, but I think he came out of the gate awesome. They were comparing him to the early career of Tiger Woods. I think he's healthy, he's youthful. He came off of a win from March. He's won many PGA Tour events, so I think he's going to take it this year.
I'll have to give the victory to Josie just because she quoted Rory McIlroy. If she can't go against Rory, I can't go against Rory. So Josie, you'll be the winner of Hot Takes this week.
Awesome. But that will do it for this week's edition of Hoosier Sports Night. Of course, lots of Little Five coverage and all 24 IU varsity sports, more baseball. And make sure to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook for the latest updates. For Katie Lazinski and Tyler Ratz, I'm Josie Janovicius. Thanks for watching.